Welcome everyone for the season 1 finale, the title championship. As you can see, Verstappen is on 130 points, Carlos Sainz is on 111, Leclerc's on 105. So this is very interesting. Verstappen only needs 7 points, I think, for total guarantee of a championship, and we all know Verstappen is very capable of doing that. And Carlos Sainz needs, if he gets P1, then he automatically gets the championship if Verstappen scores 0 points. Leclerc needs to win and get the fastest lap, or win, and then obviously he'll be tied on points. But anyways, this is going to be an interesting race, and as we go to the Yas Marina in United Arab Emirates, as a retirement announcement, Vettel announces retirement alongside Fernando Alonso, and our car, it's got all these really warm parts, and I think we might have to take a grid penalty because we do not have the car doesn't have the capability, I don't think, to be able to run to the rest of the whole race. But so I'm going to take a grid penalty for the ICE, the internal combustion engine, which is going to need to be changed, which is at 70%-ish already, even though I changed it last race. So I don't know why, or I changed it in Hungary, so I don't know why it hasn't been changed. But anyway, here's the penalty. As you can see, it takes 7 minutes from our qualifying session, but it's okay. It still gives us like 10 minutes to do a few runs. And on our first run, here into turn 1, it's okay. It's an okay turn. And then turn 4, I think I went a bit wide, went a bit deep, and then here on the DRS straight, finish it. This is quite a complicated little chicane, very easy to oversteer. Get a snap of understeer or oversteer. I'm sure like I did on the exit of there, and especially on the entry of the first corner of the chicane, it's quite hard as well. To get the grip down also, because the elevation changes are quite difficult, and same with here as well. Like I went wide a little bit because the elevation changes a bit all over the place, and I have hit the wall. But I'm going to continue on this lap anyway, and I do finish the lap, but I don't know why I don't get the end of the clip. But it was a 125 something. It was good enough for P20. We're going on a second lap here. We've got 1 minute remaining of qualifying. Leclerc's in front of me, and it's a bit shaky in the rear end, and we've spun almost into the F1 TV barrier there, but we've kept it out. It's a nice save, and we're going to go back on the track, and that's our last qualifying run. So P20 it is for us, unless Latifi or Piastri do anything to up our time. But let's have a look. Yep, P20, Piastri still in P22, and Latifi P21. So yeah, these are going to be the results. This is going to be the grid for the race. As you can see, Leclerc's P2, P4, Verstappen's in P6, so that's not good for him. He has a little bit of a hill to climb, but we're going to have a look. We're going to see what he can do from P6. But anyways, on to the race.
So here we are, ready to go racing for one final time this year. Another season of victories, controversies and rivalries lies in our wake. And just one challenge remains, here in the United Arab Emirates, on a circuit that made its spectacular debut back in 2009. Welcome to the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. The drivers will be racing here at the Yas Marina circuit through 16 corners and a lap distance of around 3.28 miles. There are a few opportunities to pass with long straights and DRS zones in 2 places, so plenty of close racing, then plenty of speed and plenty of drama to be found in the laps ahead. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. It's Sergio Perez on pole today, with Charles Leclerc alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Sainz, Russell, Lando Norris and Bottas, Fernando Alonso, Stroll, Albon. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. And Oscar Piastri, Gasly, they've taken a grid penalty, Magnussen, the owner driver, and Joe, Vettel, Latifi, Daniel Ricciardo, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty, and Lewis Hamilton, Verstappen, Ocon, Mick Schumacher, and Yuki Tsunoda. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today. Anthony Davidson joins me once again in the commentary box, and it's fantastic to have you with us here. But I'm curious, as a man with experience out on the track, how do you stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
Well, I imagine they'll be starting to feel the adrenaline as they anticipate the run down into turn 1, a bit like preparing to go into battle. The unknown situation will bring nerves, but that's a good thing. It will keep them focused on the moment and on their surroundings as we build towards the start of the Grand Prix.
So talk of the hour, talk of the day, Verstappen with a grid penalty and he's now in P19. Oh no, this is not good for the Red Bull driver, especially this is just taking a big toll on his driver's championship. And obviously, Sainz being promoted to P3 also, it's just given Verstappen it's not gone his way at all. It's really not gone his way. And Sergio Perez is left by himself up there in the top 3 to defend from both of the Ferrari drivers. But will he be able to defend for Max Verstappen? We're going to find out. Or is Perez not going to defend hard for them, for Verstappen, and help him? But anyway, we're lining up on the grid now as we're about to go underway at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, the last race of Season 1. The Season 1 finale as we go to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights, and we go green, and we go racing here in Abu Dhabi. The sun is setting, and Sergio Perez gets off well. Leclerc is not able to overtake him to turn 1. No one's making a move. But look at Lance Stroll making it 3 wide with George Russell and Ricciardo, and Bottas there just chilling there. Sorry, not Ricciardo, Lando Norris. But Lance Stroll was up in a P4 momentarily, and now he's down into P6, and Valtteri Bottas is also going to have a go at Lance Stroll at some point. There's Oscar Piastri in P9, doing very well alongside Fernando Alonso there, side by side, and he makes the move into the hairpin where Verstappen also made his move last year to win the championship on Valtteri Bottas. Oscar Piastri made the move on, and he hit his right tyre, Valtteri Bottas' rear left tyre, and he's got no damage, thankfully, for the Aussie man. But here's Lance Stroll making a move again. Oh, look at that, Oscar Piastri getting the elbows out, trying to get the move done on the... look at that, it's 3 wide into the exit of the chicane between Albon, Magnussen and myself, and I get ahead of them too, and I'm in P10. But look at Lance Stroll making a move on George Russell on the outside of this long, swooping left-hander. And there's a lot of cars making loads of moves. But look at George Russell, again, attacked by Lance Stroll, essentially. And Lance Stroll's doing really well in P5. And look at Leclerc. Look at Perez. Perez is being overtaken by Leclerc and Carlos Sainz, and Sainz is in first place. Leclerc is now into P2. Carlos Sainz is currently in the lead of the championship, and Sergio Perez is down in P3. So this is not good for Verstappen if he wants to win the championship. If Verstappen wants to win the championship, Sergio Perez needs to overtake these two and stay in P1, really get P1 to secure the championship. But here you go, Max Verstappen now making moves from the back of the grid. Someone has pitted, I think. I'm not entirely sure, but look at Sebastian Vettel side by side with Daniel Ricciardo, and Verstappen also behind. He's left to just wait for the scraps because Ricciardo and Sebastian Vettel battling super hard. And speaking of hard, Verstappen is on the hards, and there was someone else on the softs there I just saw. But Valtteri Bottas, Oscar Piastri all in a battle for P7 here with Fernando Alonso also. And here we go, Oscar Piastri side by side with Fernando Alonso down this first DRS straight. Is Piastri going to be able to get ahead? But look at Valtteri Bottas on the outside. They're going to make it 3 wide into the chicane. Who's going to prevail? Who's going to get ahead? It looks like Fernando Alonso. But they're still 3 wide. They're still 2 wide now. And Oscar Piastri gets off the best. He is in P7, but look, Fernando Alonso is going to have the DRS into this next straight, and it's going to be no match. But look at me. I've made my way past Valtteri Bottas also, and look, it's going to be 3 wide into the long sweeping left-hander. He leaves me enough space, and me and Fernando Alonso overtake Piastri on each side of him, and that reminds me of that move with Schumacher and Kimi Räikkönen, I think it was, or Fernando Alonso, I'm not entirely sure, where they went side by side at Spa and overtook this back marker. That reminded me of that. But Fernando Alonso is ahead, and Oscar Piastri is also ahead of me too. So something happened there. But Bottas is looking to make his way back up after I overtook him there on that lap. But it's a very good start. It's a great start for all these drivers, all this very interesting race that it's been, and the sun is still setting. But look at me making a move on Piastri as Piastri locks up. He is feeling the pressure, And Kevin Magnussen is also there. He's made a move on Valtteri Bottas. He's a little bit slow. He has a little snap there and trying to overtake Oscar Piastri on the inside. But he couldn't. He wasn't able to do it. But now Valtteri Bottas is going to have a go at Kevin Magnussen. Is behind Pierre Gasly and Alex Albon fighting for P12. And these two have been squabbling and fighting this whole entire season. And Latifi is also there with his teammate to gang up on Pierre Gasly and hopefully both get past him and try and get enough points to defend from us, where we are both currently in a points finish and we'll be finishing ahead of Williams and earning more money. But look at Latifi making a move there on the inside. But this is the replay or the restart. Or the replay of the start. And as you can see, Kevin Magnussen got well, and I got off better than Guan Yu Zhou as I brake really early. I wanted to avoid collisions. But look at Latifi on my inside there. I was a little bit overcautious. Gasly now being overtaken by Kevin Magnussen, who's made his way up into P11, and Gasly now dropped down to P12. And now I have Latifi on my gearbox. Looking to make a move, I have to use overtake to stay, and I overtake Gasly here, try and make it the most out of that slow corner as possible. And now that means Pierre Gasly now side by side with Guan Yu Zhou behind, and Albon he is right next to me. He's side by side with me, and Magnussen and Albon also going side by side into the next corner. But I overtake Magnussen and Albon on the inside, and we make it 3 wide. Fernando going a little bit slow over that he hopped over that curb. But here we go. I apparently got a collision with Alonso. I didn't even see that, so I checked my vehicle condition for anyway, just in case. But I am ahead of Magnussen and both Albon, and that's unfortunate for Albon. He's dropped from P10 there in the points, and me and Magnussen squabbling a little bit as I go very wide. And I missed the apex, and Magnussen goes straight through, and Albon's looking to have a go at me in case I do the same thing again, and hopefully pick up scraps like Magnussen just did and gain a free position out of it. But currently it doesn't look like he's going to be able to overtake me, as I'm going to be able to keep up with Magnussen, and he's fallen into the grasp of Pierre Gasly also, who's a second behind him, and will be looking to make a move into with Albon. And get fighting with Albon in the next few laps, as Carlos Sainz sets the fastest lap, coming out lap 1. Me and Magnussen going side by side into turn 1, and I get ahead, and that is exactly what I needed. Now in a points position, that's really good. And look at Piastri, Bottas and Alonso going 3 wide. See, this is what happens. This is what happened. This is how I got ahead of Bottas, and here we go on the straight. I think Bottas has a little bit of wing damage. I saw a little bit of a scrape on his wing on his wing, his end plate even. And here we go. Piastri defending the inside from Alonso. I'm going on the inside of Piastri, and Alonso's going on the outside. He has the grip, enough grip on the outside. I give him a room that he needs to work with, and he is going ahead. He storms ahead, and I go wide, and I got really distracted as Piastri makes his way through also. And Bottas also tried to have a little go there whilst I was wide, but couldn't make it through. And Piastri and Alonso are still ahead of me, and that's not good for me either. But it's okay for Piastri because he's in PA, and that's a points finish no matter what. It's a double points finish for us, as Leclerc sets the fastest lap, and that's not good for Verstappen's championship, as he is still, God knows, out of the points. But here we go, me on Piastri as he locks up, as we saw on the race start, and I'm now in P8. But he's going to have Magnussen on his tail, as you can see there in the rear view mirror. We got a replay of what happened, where he went a little bit wide. But here we go, Albon fighting with Pierre Gasly. I think Pierre Gasly is going to... No, Albon's going to get the DRS. Gasly's also going to get the DRS, but he's going to make the overtake on Alex Albon on the inside. Here we go. Can he make the move stick on the Williams driver, as Latifi sails ahead into the distance in P12, as these two behind are squabbling? But look at Gasly. He's on the outside. He's hanging around the outside, and now the inside of the Williams driver. Can he stay ahead? But this is a brilliant battle between these two, and it's going for a long while. And Alex Albon on the inside has got way more grip than Pierre Gasly, and he has way more acceleration than that AlphaTauri car also. But here we go. Pierre Gasly is going to have another lap to have a go at Alex Albon, and hopefully not fall into the grasp with Daniel Ricciardo and get overtaken by him, which would not be good for the Frenchman's race, as obviously he wants to get into the points for the AlphaTauri car. But now Fernando Alonso on Lance Stroll. Is he going to be able to make a move here on the DRS straight? He pulls to the right of the Aston Martin driver with the DRS. Alonso has a DRS, but Lance Stroll fights it on the inside as they go side by side into the chicane. But Fernando Alonso is ahead. But that means Lance Stroll is going to have a go again at Fernando Alonso with a DRS. But is he going to be able to do so? Will he be able to have the straight line speed to beat to overtake the Fernando Alonso? He goes to the left and he goes to the right. He goes around the outside, and Fernando Alonso knows with his experience that the inside is better there. And Lance Stroll is not able to get ahead of Fernando Alonso, despite being given a godsend of DRS on the second straight after being overtaken by Fernando Alonso and being demoted from P6. As you can see, Mick Schumacher and Lewis Hamilton also squabbling at the back there. As Valtteri Bottas and Oscar Piastri side by side into the chicane, also on the exit of the chicane. Oscar Piastri has the better exit on the outside, but Valtteri Bottas has the better acceleration. And we're watching Nicholas Latifi and Albon there. Now back onto Oscar Piastri and Valtteri Bottas. As Oscar Piastri opens the DRS wing, goes round the outside of the long sweeping left-hander, around the outside of the fin, the flying fin as they call him as well. All those years at Mercedes where he was incredibly fast, he's totally on the pace. His career reminds me of Carlos Sainz at the moment as Pierre Gasly locks up and Albon's looking to have a go at Pierre Gasly, but Gasly stays ahead in that AlphaTauri car, and he also has Piastri in front of him. And it wouldn't be too hard to catch up to Piastri because he's obviously not the greatest of drivers, but Latifi's also dropped down to P15 after an incident, I think. Daniel Ricciardo is looking to make up places for the Papaya team here. He's in P14 currently, but he's going to be looking to make up these positions and get into P10 possibly and above into the points, whereas his teammate is currently in P5. So that's good for Lando Norris with an unfortunate double DNF in the last race. That wasn't really good the McLaren team, but it's not the end of the world here with Lando Norris finishing P5 currently, and they're also ahead of I think Alpine in the standings. I'm not entirely sure, but here we go. I'm going to make a move on Lance Stroll. Easy does, I go very deep, and that invites Lance Stroll to have a go on the outside there, but I'm still ahead as I defend from him after going extremely deep. He's going to have the DRS, but I don't think he is close enough to make a move. As you can see, I go off him because he's not close enough. But here we go, Yuki Tsunoda battling for P17 with Esteban Ocon and Sebastian Vettel. But look at Max Verstappen in P20. This is not good. Lap 6, he's going to make these moves up quickly. He's on the hards. He's doing okay for the hard tyres. So, but look at Sebastian Vettel defending from Max Verstappen. He knows he's in it. He's here to win the championship. And Verstappen has got no time to waste fighting these back markers. Look at Verstappen squabbling with Sebastian Vettel, and they made contact a little bit as Verstappen had a little snap there, but they're going side by side through the hotel section, and Verstappen doesn't look like to get ahead, and he's Sebastian Vettel, but look at that, he's fighting it back, and he's back ahead as Sebastian Vettel goes off the track a little bit, and he has a little moment there as Mick Schumacher now overtaking Sebastian Vettel, and they're going side by side and start finish straight into turn 1, who is going to be ahead, but Daniel Ricciardo pits for a pair of mediums as he started on the softs, I think. So I'm not entirely sure what's happening there, but what that strategy is about. But Mick Schumacher now on Sebastian Vettel. He's going to have the DRS on this DRS straight, and I don't think Sebastian Vettel is going to have the DRS. But here we go, now onto the straight. Sebastian Vettel is getting overtaken now by Mick Schumacher, and Sebastian Vettel cannot fight that one, so he lets Mick Schumacher go, and focusing more on the next DRS straight to catch him. But now Lance Stroll. This is how I got past Lance Stroll, with the DRS and the ERS, running out of the ERS though, single digits, as I dive bomb him, miscalculate the braking zone entirely, go extremely deep, stay on the track, don't cut the track unlike some people, but there we go, I am ahead, he's going to get the DRS, but I got a better exit, and he's too far behind to get the overtake back, to re-overtake me, and whatnot. But here we go, Charles Leclerc on Carlos Sainz on the outside of the long swooping left-hander, both on the medium tyres, both on the same strategy. Maybe not so much on the pit window because they can't double stack. But there we go, Charles Leclerc is ahead of Carlos Sainz now, and Perez is in P4. So he needs to make up a lot of ground to catch up to Sainz and to Leclerc to make sure that Verstappen can have a chance at winning the championship. But now Leclerc is ahead of Carlos Sainz, but Sainz is not going to give this position up so easily. He wants to win. He knows Verstappen is down in the bin past P10 where he's not going to be getting any points, so he needs to win. And this is very selfish from Leclerc, because even if he wins and Verstappen scores no points, he'll be tied on points. But Sainz is probably feeling very robbed at the moment and feeling a little bit of pressure as he has a championship. A championship to be decided in this race. It's currently going the way of Charles Leclerc, I think. Well, he'll be tied on points, but if he can get a fastest lap, then he'll be beating Verstappen by 1 point in the championship there. But currently, Sainz is not close enough to Leclerc. I don't think he's going to be able to make a move on his fellow Ferrari-man, his Ferrari teammate, as Leclerc has a just rocket exit there, and he gains 7 tenths on the straight. And despite Sainz having DRS and ERS, it is not enough to re-overtake his teammate. And cutting back to the action of Pierre Gasly and Albon, as you can see there in the back. He's not Albon and Gasly, but Piastri and Gasly, as he makes a beautiful overtake there, and he's gonna begin pressurized as Verstappen is battling Yuki Tsunoda. They're side by side down the start-finish straight, not on the start-finish straight, but a DRS straight. As you can see, Verstappen is ever so slightly ahead. Yuki Tsunoda's ahead Verstappen's ahead of the long sweeping left-hander, but he's getting slightly held up by Zhou Guanyu there. But he's going around the outside of Zhou Guanyu. No, he doesn't make it. But Yuki Tsunoda's on the inside of Verstappen as Verstappen breaks late, and he goes into the back of Zhou Guanyu, and Yuki Tsunoda goes ahead, and look at the free wide action. Verstappen is getting squashed in between these two drivers, and Zhou Guanyu looks like to get ahead. But wow, what a great racing through that hotel section. As Verstappen and now Zhou Guanyu are battling, as Yuki Tsunoda is forced to back out a little bit, and Zhou Guanyu prevails, and he is ahead of Max Verstappen and both Yuki Tsunoda, and he survived an attack from both of them as they were going free wide, as he also, I think, looked up, and Verstappen went into the back of him, and went in that force, and that caused Zhou Guanyu to go a little bit wide into that into the hotel section. And Verstappen went into the back of him also. I don't know if Verstappen has damage or anything, but Yuki Tsunoda now going to have a little look at Verstappen. He goes to the outside of this hairpin. And Verstappen was a little bit shaky through that hairpin. And he's going to have Yuki Tsunoda now. He is very fierce in his driving. And will he be able to overtake Max Verstappen here on the straight? The Red Bull seems to have similar pace to the AlphaTauri in the straight, mainly because he's on the warmer tyres. Look at that. No, sorry, the softer tyres. But look at that. Mick Schumacher. Oh, Zhou Guanyu spun around. Mick Schumacher's dive on both of them, and he is ahead. And look at Sebastian Vettel also getting ahead of Yuki Tsunoda. But Mick Schumacher is ahead of both of them, and he's made a mega dive bomb. Look at that. And Zhou Guanyu is just absolutely just spun his own. He spun by himself, and he holds up Yuki Tsunoda and Verstappen. But Sebastian Vettel gets ahead of Yuki Tsunoda, and Zhou Guanyu is down into P20. But Mick Schumacher gets the best out of that and goes into P16, and he's ahead. And now Zhou Guanyu was overtaken by Daniel Ricciardo in the end, but he's going to re-overtake him here in the next DRS straight. And never mind, the McLaren driver stays ahead of the Chinese driver here, and it looks like Daniel Ricciardo is going to stay ahead, and Zhou Guanyu has probably lost all confidence in that car after that spin, and that's not really great for the Chinese driver, as he was doing very well as defending from Mick Schumacher. Mick Schumacher's Verstappen, Sebastian Vettel and Yuki Tsunoda. Now the pit stop, Ferrari, they pit Leclerc onto hards from the mediums on lap 13 out of 29 here in the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, and he's got a championship to win if he can make it work. And Verstappen also, he's the only person to pit out of those who have medium runners. So now as I said that, they're all pitting behind him. So that's Oscar Piastri also pitting, Gasly, Albon and Valtteri Bottas also pitting. Now Latifi into P10, Magnussen in P9, Leclerc in P8 behind Lance Stroll. But Kevin Magnussen is going to fight Charles Leclerc if he can get close enough. But Lance Stroll, I'm leading the pack, this small little pack, as I'm 5 seconds behind Fernando Alonso. So I'm running a little bit of a lonely race here with Lance Stroll 4 seconds behind me. And look at Mick Schumacher making a move on Esteban Ocon immediately after making a move on those 3 cars. A mega send into that chicane where Zhou Guanyu spun himself out. But here we go. Mick Schumacher with the DRS. Esteban Ocon has a little bit of end plate damage, but I don't think that's affecting him much. But here we go. Esteban Ocon fighting Mick Schumacher to this chicane where he made a sensational dive bomb. And now Charles Leclerc re-overtaking Kevin Magnussen as they make contact with each other. But Kevin Magnussen has to give up the position eventually to Charles Leclerc, as Leclerc is a quicker car. And now Mick Schumacher and Esteban Ocon still fighting. And Max Verstappen still looking there, maybe hoping that these two fight enough to the point where he can catch up. But look at this, side by side, is a long sweeping left-hander. Look at Mick Schumacher getting ahead of Esteban Ocon. And Carlos Sainz getting demoted from P1 from Sergio Perez there in the top left. I think Carlos Sainz has actually just pitted, I'm not sure. Yes, he has, and I'm in P2. now of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. 8.6 seconds of Sergio Perez, and Perez is going to need to make a load of ground up now if he wants to stay in P1 where he is currently. And look at Nicholas Latifi, he's just got into the pits, and Esteban Ocon is still going to be chasing Mick Schumacher for this next few laps possibly, and he's also going to have Verstappen on his tail. Verstappen is now at P10, so he's done enough to win the championship at the moment. But Lance Stroll is in traffic, and he's got Daniel Ricciardo. Daniel Ricciardo looks up, and Lance Stroll lets him by still. He doesn't decide to overtake him, which is kind of strange, and Daniel Ricciardo stays ahead. I don't know if that's the game with DRS chicken, that Lance Stroll was brutally lost to Daniel Ricciardo, and that wasn't very smart for the Canadian driver. But it's not all lost, because he's still in a net P8 after I pit, and all these runners behind me also pit, and now it is lap 16, Leclerc catching up to me. I'm going to have to defend from Leclerc if I want Verstappen to win. Obviously, I'm not part of the Red Bull at all, and there has been rumours of Citroën joining Red Bull, but nothing confirmed as of yet, as this is the final season. A new engine supplier has not yet been announced, and it will be announced at the end of this video. It will be announced at the start of the next video, which is the Season 2 pre-season. And now Leclerc with the DRS, he's not close enough to make a move, and he's going to have to want to clear me as soon as possible. But it will be on the Discord. The announcement will be on the Discord before the pre-season video is announced. So if you want to join that, join the Discord now. Max Verstappen fighting Daniel Ricciardo for P8. Obviously not going to be P8 after these two still have to pit, as they both started on hard. But Lance Stroll has pitted. So, Verstappen now making a move on Daniel Ricciardo. He's got the quickest car possibly on the grid. He's great. He's got great racecraft, great pace. He's shown that he can make his way through the field, and he's finding it tricky now. And Carlos Sainz did a really great job of cutting out the field the other race. And now Leclerc is very close to me, and I'm thinking I'm going to play a little bit of DRS chicken, is what they call it, and I'm going to let him right by the DRS detection zone, so I can get the DRS on the Ferrari, and here we go in the hairpin. I was hoping to get ahead of him in the hairpin and still get the DRS, and maybe Carlos Sainz overtake Leclerc, but here we go. I'm going to overtake him right now with DRS, and I had ER, and I knew that I had enough ERS, but now the orange icon for the tyres have come on, so that means it's time to pit, and I was already planning to pit at the same time as Perez, but I'm ahead of this chicane section, and Carlos Sainz wasn't able to get a run at Leclerc, even though he had the DRS and Leclerc didn't. And now Leclerc's going to have the DRS. I'm using all my ERS to defend from Leclerc as much as possible. I want Verstappen to win. I don't really want Leclerc, but as I try to overtake him again, he just shuts the door on me completely. That's a bit controversial there. He didn't really give me any room, but now we're pitting lap 17 behind Perez, and hopefully it's a good stop. And Perez goes into the mediums, obviously. No safety car yet, and we don't think there will be a safety car this race, but maybe after that Drogon Yu incident, he has shown that there's still very much a chance for a safety car in this race. And there's a 2.4 second stop and optimal turn in, and going into the medium tyres till the end of the race. And this is a very interesting pit exit, and it's a very cool one, but it's very difficult. And now with the colder tyres, you don't know if you're going to spin out or something, so you have to lift off. As you can see me, I'm going half throttle coming out of the pit exit, because I didn't want to spin or anything foolishly, as I warm up my tyres a little bit. And now I'm 12 seconds behind Alonso, so I've lost a lot of time to Fernando Alonso, and I'm ahead of Lance Stroll, so that's not all too bad. And I'm in P7, sitting P7, and I got a lot to do. And this is a replay of what happened to me and Charles Leclerc, playing the little DRS chicken where I also get ahead. But I got a load of laps ahead of me to gain time on Fernando Alonso, so I've got to be setting quick times, quicker times than Fernando Alonso. And this is what happened to me and Charles Leclerc. He wasn't able to get ahead of me in the chicane section, but he made easy work of me in the next DRS zone. And that's where he almost shut me off, and I was trying not to take myself out of that race, so I backed out of it because I saw that he wasn't going to give me any room, and Sainz isn't close enough to me either. And now Nicholas Latifi pressurising Oscar Piastri as he locks up and goes into the back of Oscar Piastri. Don't know if he's got damage, but two cars are overtaking him now. Yuki Tsunoda, Mick Schumacher, and Nicholas Latifi's dropped down to P17. Verstappen is still in P18, so that's not good for him. Daniel Ricciardo has pitted again for hards, so Don't know what's happening there, but Verstappen now already made his pit stop onto the medium, so he's going to be going the rest of the race on that compound after starting on the hards. But Mick Schumacher, Yuki Tsunoda trying to have a little look on the inside of Oscar Piastri into the hairpin, but he thinks better of it. He does not go for it, and now he's chosen to use the DRS instead. And Oscar Piastri is left to defend from Yuki Tsunoda. He's 11 seconds behind the next closest car, despite having a decent start of the race. Already in the points, he was in P9, P8 and P7 at some point as well, but he hops over the curb and he goes really slow through that section as Yuki Tsunoda drives off into the sunset. And despite Oscar Piastri having DRS, he's not going to be able to do anything. And Mick Schumacher's even going to have a go at him at some point in this race possibly. And we're going to have a look. Is Mick Schumacher close enough? No, he is not. But maybe in the next few laps, if Oscar Piastri is slow enough, he will want to have a go. But Max Verstappen making a move on Nicholas Latifi immediately as quickly as possible, because Verstappen has got to get at least a point to secure some sort of safety guarantee. And look at Lewis Hamilton and Zhou Guanyu battling. That is insane. And Lewis Hamilton looks up and Zhou Guanyu gets ahead and he goes off the circuit. And Zhou Guanyu gets ahead in the 7-time world champion, proving that he has just been extremely unlucky this season to not be able to have a go at the Drivers' Championship. But now Mick Schumacher getting past Oscar Piastri as Mick Schumacher's huge lockup, but he does enough to stay ahead. He gets the car braked after, and he does well enough to stay ahead even after that lockup. And so now Max Verstappen looking to make a move on Oscar Piastri immediately, and this is not good. It's not a good race for Oscar Piastri as they make a little bit of contact. They bang tyres, and and Verstappen needs 1 point. If Leclerc was to win, Verstappen would need literally only 1 point. So even a P10 finish would guarantee him currently the Drivers' Championship. And now lap 19. As we have Alonso 10 seconds ahead of me as I set the quickest lap at 1:27.0, and that's an extra point for us at the moment. And now lap 20 on Oscar Piastri. He is making the move work with the DRS, and like I said, Oscar Piastri's had an unfortunate demise for this race, and Daniel Ricciardo's done a little bit more, and he hasn't locked up this time after he was getting pressurised by Lance Stroll a few laps back. And now Piastri way too far back to even have a go at Ricciardo, and that's unfortunate for Piastri. And now Sergio Perez looking very hungry to help his teammate out. He seems like he wants to be on the cards to help his teammate here, and he's going to have to do that by overtaking George Russell now, and he will be doing that on lap 21 out of 29, and he's going to have 8 laps to catch up to Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc, who are both on the hard tyres, compared to Perez that's going to be on the mediums, and he's going to be quick around this circuit. And as you can see, Esteban Ocon as well. In front of him is Nicholas Latifi and Hamilton battling, and none of them get the DRS. And Ocon just flies past them, bombs down the curb a little bit, and they go free wide into long sweeping left-hander. But Nicholas Latifi is left to fight for Esteban Ocon, and Esteban Ocon goes around the outside of Nicholas Latifi and is now setting his sights on Lewis Hamilton, and that's unfortunate for Nicholas Latifi. He was also having a decent little race. This race up until now, he's just been overtaken by 2 cars, Lewis Hamilton and both Esteban Ocon. And lap 27 out of 29 now, Sergio Perez is close enough to the both Ferrari drivers. You can see them off in the road there, and he's got 2 laps to make anything work of this championship. Can he help his teammate Verstappen, who is currently P13, so he's not done enough to do anything? He don't know if he's going to be able to get points, but Sergio Perez can do something about it. He's going to overtake Carlos Sainz on the outside into the little chicane section, but Carlos Sainz is going to need to defend this if he wants his teammate to win the championship. But look at this, Carlos Sainz still ahead of Sergio Perez, and he's surviving slightly the attack of the Mexican. But no, he's going to have the DRS on the outside of the Spaniard. He is going to be ahead, but Carlos Sainz couldn't fight it. He wasn't quick enough, but he's ahead, lap 28 now. Daniel Ricciardo a little bit further back on Yuki Tsunoda, about to make a move on the DRS straight. we're going to see what happens if Sergio Perez can catch up to Leclerc in the final lap. But here we go, Daniel Ricciardo on Yuki Tsunoda, going to make a move on the outside of the young Japanese driver in the AlphaTauri car. And Daniel Ricciardo making a move on the outside. Now the inside, he's not going to get the DRS on his next straight. But Yuki Tsunoda's still there. He's going to be close enough to overtake him, even without the DRS. But here we go. Mick Schumacher's also there around the outside. But they're going 3 wide, I think, into there. Oh, Daniel Ricciardo gets overtaken by both cars. And Yuki Tsunoda now left to fight for Mick Schumacher as he gets clipped. His front right tire gets clipped by Mick Schumacher as he turns it on him a little bit. And Yuki Tsunoda's a little moment there on the hairpin or the little long swooping left-hander. But Mick Schumacher gets best out of them 3, and he is 4 seconds behind Max Verstappen, and Max Verstappen is 3 seconds, 2.5 seconds even, of Alex Albon. So I don't know. But here we go. Fernando Alonso, lap 29 of 29. Sergio Perez is 1.4 seconds behind Leclerc, so I don't know if he's going to be able to do anything. But here we go. Fernando Alonso on Lando Norris, fighting for P5 here. I'm not close enough to any of them. I'm 5 seconds behind, and obviously this is the final lap. But here we go. Lando Norris on the outside of Fernando Alonso. Fernando Alonso's got slight end plate damage. Don't know if that'll affect anything. But he sails around the outside of Lando Norris, and he is ahead into the hotel section. About to go into the hotel section. Fernando Alonso ahead of Lando Norris, and that's unfortunate for Lando Norris as he dropped from P5 to P6. Sergio Perez is not close enough to Charles Leclerc. He is not being able to fight Charles Leclerc this race. And Charles Leclerc, it looks like he's going to win here in Abu Dhabi. Don't know if he's going to have the fastest lap here as I do on the hard tyres. But Charles Leclerc is going to come across the line to win the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. And is it going to be enough? Sergio Perez has done everything he can. He's come home 2nd place. And Carlos Sainz 3rd place. And I don't know. Currently, Verstappen and Leclerc are tied on points, as I got the fastest lap in the end. But who's the game going to give it to? We come home for P7, Lance Stroll P8, which is alright for him. But I pulled 18 seconds on Lance Stroll in the like 10 laps or so, and I was not able to catch Fernando Alonso. But here we go. Who is it going to be? Who is the game going to give it to? Verstappen has more wins than Leclerc this season, but they are tied on points. The game is going to go and give it to Charles Leclerc. The game has given the World Drivers' Championship to Charles Leclerc. And the controversy, how is that deserved? Verstappen has more wins this season. Verstappen was so unfortunate this race, but how has Leclerc won it? They're on tied points. Verstappen has more wins this season. How has Leclerc won the championship? Oh my goodness. Wow, the controversy. Nothing has gone the way of Verstappen this race. But everything, he was looking so dominant at the start of the season. Sergio Perez picks up whatever is in his car, and that's unfortunate for the Mexican. He tried everything for his teammate, but it was not enough to stop the Monegasque train. Little A-Train reference there. Just stomping right through Verstappen's title. But Verstappen was looking like he was going to win it, especially after Leclerc DNF'd at Monza, and he had a big lead over Leclerc coming into this final race. But Leclerc wins the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix and the 2022 World Drivers' Championship. What a topsy-turvy, what a roller coaster of a season this has been, what a roller coaster of a race this has been, what a great race it's been. There's a lot of action, and Charles Leclerc has done great to turn this season around after having a few DNFs, including Monza, that mysterious DNF after I had to retire early. But wow, that is insane. I don't know how that's happened. But Kevin Magnussen, P9, and Valtteri Bottas running off the top 10. Pierre Gasly just about missing out on the points, including Albon and Verstappen, and he was so close. Verstappen was 3 positions away from gaining enough points. He only needed 1 point to keep Charles Leclerc at bay, but he wasn't able to do it as we get the fastest lap in that race. Perez with the 2nd quickest lap, but that is unfortunate, and that means that Ferrari have won the Constructors and the World Drivers' Championship. Oscar Piastri started P10, is in P19. That's not great. But look at this. They're tied on points, 130. Verstappen has got 3 wins this season. Leclerc has got 2. So how on earth has Leclerc been given the win? I do not know how this works. I thought if they're finished tied on points, then the person who wins the most races that season, would get the Drivers' Championship. But that's besides the point. We are now finishing the season. We're coming up to the moment that you've all waited for. We get to sack Piastri finally, and we are most certainly not going to do what it says. Contract renewal, absolutely not going to do that. We're going to go straight to the driver market, and we're going to negotiate with a driver. As you can see, covering up a little bit, we're going to bid on one of the drivers, and as you can see, we are bidding with a team for a driver, and we are not going to know. You're not going to know who it is yet until in a minute, where I show who it is. As I reveal who it is, you can see I'm still bidding, and this team is very reluctant and doesn't want to let go of this driver, as they've also said they only wanted to leave in 2023. But here we go. We have won, and guys, we have signed Alexander Albon. Welcome to the team. Welcome to Citroën. He has got great stats. Fernando Alonso officially retiring from the sport. But that's it, guys. We have signed Alexander Albon, and the season full of rumours. And it's come down to signing Albon. And the Season 2 pre-season video will come out soon, which you'll find out who we sign in the Constructors. But that's about it for the Season 1 finale. I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you guys very shortly for the Season 2 pre-season video.